guys are probably going to ask me the question, would you recommend that someone purchase this? All right, time to weigh in on the T50. Finally did get one. And it's not like the used passed around influencer special. This is actually my very own personal Bintac T50, courtesy of the only place I recommend you get one, Phil's Hobby Stop. Honestly, Phil's Hobby Stop has been an unrelenting support of this channel. So if you like what you see on this channel, you're definitely gonna like what you see at Phil's Hobby Stop. He's just getting started with a brand new brick and mortar style store in Fairbanks, Alaska, and that's where this gun today is coming to us from. If you guys are a fan of the channel and subscribe, you've already seen the short where it does actually fill and take pressure on the very first attempt. Had no foibles whatsoever when getting to the pressure that you see in front of you. It's held this pressure for approximately 48 hours, and it's done so with no help, no top up, no anything else, right? I know a lot of people have hesitancy when it comes to filling and seeing the AEA/Bintac stuff hold pressure over time, but for whatever reason, this one seems to be potentially built to a higher level, because not only did it fill first time to the pressure level that you see it at, but I have not leaked one iota of air since the point where it was filled 3 days ago. Also, this is not a compensated review. They've already tried to force their will on me and tell me what I'm not allowed to talk about, which I immediately told them was infringing on my First Amendment rights. So there's not going to be any weird plugs for the company. Whatever happens in this review is whatever happens in this review, but so far my experience has been extremely good. Now, the one thing that I will say is a lot of people, including myself, looked at the initial video and saw that the physical size and physical shape of the receiver itself definitely bears that resemblance to the S45, and spatially externally you'd be pretty close to right, even though there are some added features on this receiver that don't exist on the S45. Specifically this little slot. It's going to be probably a restrictor plate so they can get it into other countries and lower the power without modifying the entire air system, but I don't know, I'm not an engineer. It's just not on the S45, right? Also, the original port where you would typically see a fill probe on the S45, that's going to now be plugged and now completely useless. You're going to be filling it from this rear tank. This is the ammunition we're going to be using. This is Jim's 235 grain hollow point stuff. Have a couple hundred rounds, courtesy of Texoma Precision Pellets, and we're not going to be putting anything except the approved ammunition through this specific rifle. I know there's a lot of people out there who kind of expect me to make a biased review and have it fail and have it do all kinds of crazy stuff and have it do weird things on film, but that's just not the direction that this video is going to go. I want to do 100% objective testing for you guys, so here's what we have lined up. I have a private range session. That means that the whole range is my range to work with and film with because of the generosity of USI. Over the last few months, we've been filming a lot of content at USI, which is United Sportsmen in Concord, and they've opened their range up to me on a day when they're not open to the public to make this review for you gentlemen. So if you guys need a good place to shoot not only your firearms, but also your air guns, USI in Concord, for sure check them out. I'm not sponsored by them either, but they've been a great help to the channel. Inside of that, we do have a private day set up. What are we going to do on that private day? Everything the manufacturer expects us to. We're going to have a GoPro on the gauge. We're going to have a GoPro on the front. We're going to have a GoPro on the back. Big camera oversight, target camera, the whole 9 yards. Because if anything remotely close to anything that's floating around on the internet right now happens to me that may have happened to other people, I just want to have it on film so that they can see exactly what occurs at that moment, so that maybe they can move forward if anything transpires, right? There's never, ever a negative to having more footage as opposed to less footage. We have enough ammunition to really do the accuracy as well as the energy testing, and it should be a really cool opportunity to potentially get out to the action pistol range, right? It's not necessarily like a full-size rifle carbine, so I think we could maybe, if they're really cool with us, get this out to the action pistol range and just kind of run and gun with it a little bit. That might be the absolute best usage for something like this, engaging kind of like the higher intensity targets in that range setting that we have available to us. You guys are probably going to ask me the question, would you recommend that someone purchase this? And I guess that depends on what your position is. For me personally, $1,600, it's a steep price. But for the engineering that goes into this machine, I kind of understand why it commands the value. I think there's also an unspoken reason why it commands the value, but that's a topic for another day. If you have the disposable $1,600, and if you have no alternatives, this is probably a pretty solid offering. Having not shot it at all, having gone based on the fact that some S45s out of the box won't take air, and this did everything it was advertised to with no coaxing or coercing, I think maybe this one might end up being worth it. Obviously, it's going to come down to how the performance plays out on the range for us, but I think there's a big difference that we really have to talk about here, and it's these magazines. Even though they're utilizing the same aluminum body with a plastic wheel insert and then a clear cover on the outside, it's going to be a little bit wider, and a little bit wider to the tune of 2 to 4 millimeters wider than the stock S45 original magazines. Feels like the same spring. Don't really have no issues winding it. It's got a little bit of oil on it because it's slick, but you can lock it all the way back if you use gumption to kind of rotate it. Now, I know for sure from experience, if I let this go under its own spring tension, it's going to do some weird snapback and like skip over the tooth and possibly break the tang and break the magazine. So when it's all the way open like that, do put that first slug in there to hold that rotation open. Otherwise, you might end up in an unfortunate situation. Get 2 magazines in the box. Once again, this is not the influencer special, so I do have everything that would come for you, the standard consumer, because I myself am the standard consumer, right? I don't have any sponsorships at this point. They hate me. Phil's doesn't hate me, though. Phil got the love for me. The only O-rings that were provided in the box are O-rings for the fill probe itself. So that shows pretty good confidence that they don't feel like the user's going to have to maintain anything, but we'll see exactly like what it looks like over time. This is your fill probe, standard AEA style fill probe that people are looking at right now. Got the red band down here on the steel, and you got the 2 O-rings with the orifice in the middle. Clips in easy. I keep them in there. If there's a fire, I just want to make sure I have all my stuff together, right? What else is there to really say in a benchtop review? I think that the eye relief from here to here is a huge distance. I have pretty long limbs, right? I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'1". But even for me, the proportions on how far my face is away from this top optics rail, not optimal. That's the one critique I would say right out of the gate. If this was shortened up, even at the expense of shot count, maybe like a smaller rear tank, that might be more what people are looking for, and also, you know, more backpackable in size. If you really wanted to hike out into the wilderness and take this thing with you, you could just throw it into a pack. Not that you couldn't now, right? You could detach the rear tank, but the idea of having it complete as one assembly is always a benefit. Now, as you can see, I did put the MacabeeSpeed.com rail kit on it, as well as a thumb hole grip. It did not come with this rifle, but they're very cool, and they are available out there. Because just from what I'm hearing from the general public is that this is equally as loud as a firearm, I'm just going to go ahead and make the move of treating it like a firearm and take it to the firearm range. Let's go ahead and get this thing packed up, get all of our tanks aired up, and make preps to go ahead and get into our private range session.